But that was the day. That was the day that I got in the crew, that Val got in the crew. That's the day that KMB became COI, and that's the day that Fleece became Euler, you know?
Wow. LA history. Who was in COI with Sacred before the two crews merged?
Yeah, so the first guys I think Sacred started COI, I think he said 89, and it was like Lexo and Seance, Sweat, and Flask. I think those were the guys that he started the crew with. I may be wrong here and there. Comet, I don't know if I mentioned him, but so these were some of the guys that were already in the crew before we got in, you know?
Was Fleece from either crew, or he was a oneer at the time?
No, Fleece was from, I keep forgetting, I think it was a JOR crew from Hollywood. I think that's where he was from, or I think it was that crew. Anyways, Fleece was writing from a Hollywood crew. But then what happened, see, I go back to the Century connection. He went to school at Century in Alhambra, which is where Vile went to school, which is where Fit, who was also KMB, that's where these guys went to school. So everyone knew each other. Sacred was from Southgate. And so COI was started in Southgate. And so that was like those guys down there. That was like I said, Comet and Lexo and Sweat. They were all Southgate heads. But then Sacred moved to Alhambra. So when Sacred moved to Alhambra, boom, he ends up in the same school as Euler, as Vile. So everyone became friends. That's how it happened. It was just like a natural, like, we're just homies, we're just friends. Let's piece together, let's paint together, you know. So back then it was really about like when I got in the crew. I mean, we were like family. We hung out. We went to everyone's house and hung out and drew in the bedrooms and chilled and had carne asadas, and you know we were pretty tight, you know. And we were either based out of Alhambra or Southgate. That's kind of where we were based out of, you know.
How long had COI been around when you joined?
Well, like I said, I think it was 89 that Sacred started it, and this was 91 when I got in. So
I mentioned earlier that you have a meeting at Shakey's Pizza to discuss that. Am I wrong about that? Does something else happen during that meeting?
Honestly, I don't remember. I don't remember about the Shakey's thing. But Shakey's was definitely a spot where we used to hang out a lot. So maybe there is some history over there about the Shakey's thing, but I just don't remember.
What does COI stand for?
So the original name is Cause of Insanity, COI. But over the years, we changed. We always loved adding to the name, you know. So we called it Choke on It, Creeping on In, you know, a couple of Indians. We had all kinds of names, but you know, Cause of Insanity is definitely the OG name, you know.
Does Sacred ever share how he started the crew? What was his motivation?
No.
Why choose COI, the letters?
You know what? We never got into it like that with Sacred. Like, I don't know the exact reasons why he started things, but Sacred's like a unique individual. That dude, you know, my personal, even though he's my friend and my crew and all that, for me, Sacred is one of the most underrated writers of all time in LA. That dude was a king, you know, and I mean king in all senses, because he had, no one else had killed the buses the way Sacred had killed the buses. You know, you would see scribes everywhere. He killed the streets. You would see his throw up, his SD throw ups stamped everywhere. You know, he got rooftops. He had cutty spots. You'd see his tag everywhere. And then obviously you talk about style, dude. Sacred style was unmatched. People didn't understand it back then. People didn't know how to relate to his style. Like, there's been so many biters of his style over the years. And so many people who were influenced by Sacred, 100%. But he was an OG. I mean, he kinged it. Like, his style, you know, he was all city. You know, he was a crew leader. So that dude had like one of the few things that not many writers have in LA, which is all those elements, and be dope at all those elements, and then still be a leader. You know, so that takes a special kind of person. And you know, and also he never got busted. You know, all the killing he did, and he never got busted. I mean, I'm sure little bust here and there, but like, he didn't do no time or nothing like that. And that says a lot for someone who killed it like that. You know what I'm saying?